guys, it's the OA Master here, and this is going to be my kind of general thoughts on the Halloween Apocalypse, Chapter 1, Doctor Who, Series 13, titled Flux. I did a live of the first episode. It's on my channel, so you can go check that out if you want, and also did like a general channel update as far as like where I want to go with this YouTube channel. So first things first, make sure to hit that like and make sure to subscribe to my channel for all notifications and whatnot, and to be aware of any lives as well as different videos. So my thoughts going into this were, I don't know what to expect, because the fandom has been divided for these last couple of years now, to the point where it's very hard to get a sense of what's good and what's not good anymore. I personally enjoyed Series 12, and Series 11 had its moments. Obviously, a lot of people didn't enjoy either. Series 12 was also the first series that I got to watch like live, so that's why I have maybe a little bit of a bias towards it. But again, going into this, it was initially maybe a little bit of hesitation because I didn't really know what to expect. The trailers, fine. The realization that Sontarans and Weeping Angels are back, awesome. Absolutely awesome. My issue was the fact that there was, even through Series 12, which I enjoyed a lot, there was something wrong with it. I couldn't put my finger on it. I think it's mainly the dialogue and the kind of the balance between characters, which, in my opinion, if you guys disagree, that's fine. I like Yaz. I liked Graham. I liked Ryan to an extent, and I actually like Jodie as the Doctor. The issue is, though, is that some of the dialogue is clunky. It's not natural, stuff like that. So going into this, I was kind of hesitant about that. But right off the bat, it's felt the most natural it's ever been. Yeah, there were a couple spots like the Four Bears joke. As much as I laughed at that thing about that, and that's more of a just kind of joke not landing. But and as much as I like Dan, as I'll get into, the Four Bears joke. Again, some of the dialogue was definitely more expositional, as I've seen some people put it, and that's totally understandable. And I thought there was a point where, it did get kind of annoying, but it wasn't like it didn't take me out of the story at all. So of course we, begin with seeing the Doctor and Yaz basically being tied up and hung upside down by Carvanista, which for some reason I didn't realize that was going to end up being the dog. And I did think that the head shape or whatnot of the helmet did look a little bit weird. But it ends up being fine later on. They escape or whatnot, and I actually really enjoyed, and I think a lot of people did too. I was looking on Twitter. A lot of people enjoyed the Doctor's joke about the releasing the handcuffs. It was well played. Jodie played it really well in that moment. Something just felt right about that. Like, that was very Doctor-ish. That was very, eccentric, funny. Like, it just works. That's the stuff that I liked from this episode. Anytime where the Doctor is almost flamboyant, but it doesn't feel unnatural for the character. So anyway, we get to the TARDIS. After I saw someone else point this out, that Yaz gets to call the shot, which I thought was an interesting point. I didn't really think about it. I think it maybe crossed my mind, but I didn't really think about it. So when we get to the TARDIS, the Doctor basically just says that, even if the world is ending, that's not going to stop Yaz and the Doctor. And again, that felt pretty natural. And then it was a good transition into the credits, or the opening credits, which I didn't expect to be different, but I also didn't expect it to be the same with them. Maybe there was going to be like a little bit of a difference, but they didn't change it, which is fine. I enjoyed this theme and the visuals surrounding it. So then we get to look at Dan across the episode, and we get his kind of introduction. We get Swarm's introduction, which I thought was really well done. Like, I called it. If you look back at my life, I called those were Time Lords as soon as I saw the guns. I'm sure other people did too, but I was so proud of myself. I was like, yes, those are Time Lords. I called it. But the introduction of Dan was good. Kind of set him up as a very, very, very gold-hearted character. Unless they switch out on us in the next 5 episodes. Really enjoy him. Really find a good connection with him personally. I've always wanted to help out a food bank and just kind of be there for people, so it was cool to have a connection with him. And this is going to kind of summarize the rest of the episode here, but kind of Swarm's introduction was nice. He looks very menacing. Of course, as soon as he kind of released, the Flux started going with our introduction of Vinder, which was also pretty nice. Oh, I forgot the Liverpool instruction. Well, that just goes to show kind of how forgettable it is. I don't mind it because it's like it sets us up for whatever stories that's going to end up being, which I'm interested in it, but this episode just kind of felt like tacked on. So it just didn't seem to sit right. But that's okay. So then we get Vinder or whatnot and start a Flux or whatnot. And I thought Jacob Anderson did really well. I just started watching Game of Thrones. I've only gotten through season 1, so I don't think I've run into him yet, unless I'm not remembering correctly. But we'll figure out how he goes. I'm excited to see him in the future. I'm curious to see who he is. We get Swarm going to the Arctic to find who we figure out is his sister. Again, nothing much to it. Just kind of a lot of this in this episode I noticed is setup, which is fine. Like, it works out. And then the other thing I forgot to mention too is that the makeup looks amazing. Whoever did that deserves a lot of credit. Anyways, this isn't going to make it the best episode of the series, I don't think. I have a feeling that there are going to be better episodes going on. That's my optimistic view of it. And I'm still waiting on a 10 out of 10 for this era, because I generally have at least one 10 out of 10 for each era of Doctor Who. From Classic Who to Modern Who, I still got like half Classic Who to go through. But as far as I can remember, each era has had at least one 10 out of 10 for me as far as episodes go. So I think this definitely has the best chance of getting that between that and the specials. So then we got a lot more traveling. We get the introduction of Claire, which I thought was really well done. Definitely menacing or kind of ominous as well. Very interested to see how she plays out. We get the return of the Weeping Angels and Sontarans, which was also really well done. I thought the Sontarans, I've always liked their humor, and this time it didn't feel forced. It felt natural to their character, more like the classic Sontarans, which is totally awesome. And as long as in the next episode, which is War of the Sontarans, as long as they still feel pretty epic and monstrous and bloodthirsty, like, it should balance out pretty well. So then skipping ahead to the ending, where we get the Doctor, Dan, and Yaz in the TARDIS, kind of not fighting off the Flux, but flying away from it. I thought one moment that stood out to me was not the wrapping around the Earth. Like, that was fine. Again, a lot of this is set up, so a lot of this is very much me just kind of glossing over a lot of stuff. This is a good episode, and I'll get to my rating in a couple seconds here, but the one moment that stood out for me was Jodie, or 13th Doctor, taking the hammer, smashing the TARDIS console, and letting the vortex energy like hit it. Like, that was like, of all the things to set up how powerful a monster or an event is, that's exactly how you do it. It's already been established how powerful the TARDIS is, how powerful the time vortex energy is. You know, making the Master go crazy. Bad Wolf Rose from series 1. Even just the soul of the TARDIS from the Doctor's wife. Again, well done to Chibnall for introducing that to kind of set up this scale of how massive Flux is going to be. Now, what do we know about Flux? All we know is that it's doing some kind of disintegration. whether that's like displacing it in different time or space, or if it's actual destruction, just like totally erasing it from existence, or again displacing it. So we'll see how that goes and how it plays into the next 5 episodes. So again, just general thoughts overall. Dialogue was much better, even though it still had the kind of Chibnall era exposition that we expected. It felt a lot more natural. Dan's introduction was amazing. I liked Carvanista. I thought he was really humorous and really sassy, and I loved him. All the other characters I enjoyed to an extent. I'm excited for Swarm, and actually I have a theory. My theory for Swarm, and this is probably going to be way off, but my theory for Swarm is it's Tecteun gone mad. Only because they're in the time as children, it does set up this kind of like this break in between, or the space in between William Hartnell's Doctor and after Tecteun started playing around with it. So I'm wondering if maybe it's not. Maybe it like it's definitely for sure pre-Hartnell, right? But I don't think it's way far back, like when they were in the other universe. I think it's legitimately in that span, and I think it could legitimately be Tecteun. Like maybe the Time Lords figured out what she did, and to hide it, they hid it from the Doctor, and then banished Tecteun, and basically turned her, basically banished her somehow, and then somehow ends up getting captured. Again, it's a stupid theory probably, but I'm putting it out there. I think it would be really cool to kind of bring her back because she's technically the one that started the regeneration. So that was interesting. Very excited to see how Swarm and Flux kind of play a part. See how the Sontarans and Weeping Angels play a part, which again, both great introductions. My rating for this episode is 8.5 out of 10. I thought some of the expositional dialogue definitely made me kind of cringe a little bit. Some of the humor didn't sit with me, but overall, great beginning to the series. Great beginning to the last series of Jodie's era, and I'm hoping that this carries out through the rest of the thing. I've always been waiting for Chibnall to do that, serialized storytelling that he's known for in Broadchurch, because I really enjoyed Broadchurch. My mom did too. So I'm excited to see where it goes with this. Yeah, that's about my thoughts for Doctor Who Series 13 Flux. Let me know what you guys thought of the first episode in the comments. Don't be afraid to come on Twitter and at me with your different thoughts on it too. I'm very active on Twitter, very active on Instagram, sometimes Facebook, but those two, I'll link them in the description. But yeah, those are my thoughts, and I'm excited to come join my live on Sunday at about 6:40 Central Standard Time. So that's going to be late for a lot of you British people, unless you want to stay up late. But that's the downside to living in America, I guess. But yeah, there's my thoughts, and don't be afraid to put your thoughts in the comments, and I will see you guys at the live. Bye!